Welcome to Pitch Your Startup, presented by Innovate. I'm your host, Bob Shami. We're delighted to have our guest today, Cihan Fuat Atkin, who resides in San Francisco. He's the CEO and a co-founder of an interesting and amazing startup called XCINEX Corporation. Cihan, thank you for joining us today. And before we jump into it, just a quick, brief background about yourself, and then we want to know what led you to to get involved and to co-found XCINEX. And what is it about? What does it stand for? What's the goal behind it? What's the vision? What kind of impact you're looking to do? Yes, I'm asking all these questions, but you know what? Because I'm going to leave it up to you. I'm going to leave the table for you. So we want to know all about it. Please go ahead, Cihan.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot, Bob, for having me on.
My
Um,
pleasure.
Absolutely. I'm Jihan. I am the co-founder and CEO of CNEX, and really, I'm originally Turkish. My family, I was born in Turkey, and at the age of 6, my family migrated over here to the U.S. For the American dream. My father was, he was very well positioned in Turkey, but he took the leap and took the big risk to bring us over here with the dream that we would have the opportunities to follow our dreams. And that's the American dream, right? To be able to come here and work hard and be able to achieve your dreams. And my dream when I came here became, entrepreneurial. I helped my father, working with him in different fields. I remember far back selling, leather jackets that he'd brought in from Turkey in suitcases in the flea markets. So growing up, I've always been an entrepreneur. And coming out of college, when I went to Penn State, we are Penn State to everybody out there that's PS. And so coming out of college, I got into the corporate world. I went into business with a consulting firm that did infrastructure and energy projects overseas, and having fluency in English and Turkish. And they had some opportunities in Turkey they were chasing. So I was positioned out there. A couple of years worked with them, grew in the company, earned a good living. And then when I came back to the U.S., I had some money saved up, and I wanted, again, that entrepreneurial spirit in me. I wanted to go out and do something on my own. And just at the time, Netflix was very big because, and they had, dominated, introduced streaming to the world, and they had been, growing. And at the time, though, they weren't as great as they are now. They weren't making their own content. There was a lot of licensing content and old stuff, as we all remember. This was back,
Correct.
yeah, this was back when they transitioned from the DVDs to fully streaming.
Yes.
And uh, and I said to myself, I remember watching it in my parents' basement in the big screen TV with Netflix because I was a member, and I was like, why am I paying money to watch these old titles? Like, what is it that's drawing me to this, right? And I've already seen a lot of these movies because growing up, I've also been a big entertainment buff, a big movie buff. Because as an immigrant coming to the U.S., television was like pop culture was kind of a way of getting connected and transitioning to this culture, right? Kind of getting into the U.S. culture. So it was very big for me. And so when I had the opportunity and I saw this, I said, this is really cool, but why can't I watch the movies in cinema? Why can't I watch like a live event happening in Vegas or in New York that's live? And I said, well, putting my business hat on, I said, well, it's pretty clear. The ticketed model is in person for a reason. They know exactly how many people are in attendance, and they sell a ticket per person. So that's how they compensated. That's the model. And also, if they stream it, how would they know how many people are there and the ability to possibly steal the content, right? Take it. So I said, well, I can solve this. I said, this is solvable with the current technologies. This is something that should be looked into. And I submitted a patent and did some patent research. And then I continued my day job and started kind of building on the side this idea, this thing that was just eating at me. And being an entrepreneur, once the patent was cleared and we got the patent, luckily I raised, and quite frankly, accidentally, I raised my first $1 million through one
Wow.
single angel investor. Yeah. Ahmed Chinar, if you're tuning in, and I'm sure I'll share this with him. So Ahmed Chinar, he's still one of our biggest investors and still a great friend, and one of the reasons why we are actually picked the Middle East and the UAE and Saudi Arabia as our beachhead, and I'll get into that into the story. But moving forward, so Netflix was great, and I was like, look, I can solve this premium ticketed entertainment thing. I know Kinect and Xbox have ways of tracking people because they had Kinect and they had Xbox Move at the time. And I was like, well, look, if these guys are tracking people, how I can use similar technology and just measure how many people are watching and turn every screen into a digital ticketed arena where artists and content creators can expand their ticketed audience for the premium, pinnacle of the entertainment industry, the live events and the theatrical release movies. And I said, well, how do we do this? Okay, looking into it, computer vision and AI is the only option because how else, right? And so that's what we started building. And once the patent was in, and I had accidentally raised the $1 million, Ahmed and I actually flew into Hollywood because I had also spent like 2 months breaking into the major studios. I would literally call them every day, email somebody every day, and then I even went as far as sending them old school like a deck in the mail, FedEx. And finally, I remember Peter Levinson. If you hear this, shout out to Peter Levinson at Universal. He was the first person to call me back. He called
Wow.
me, and at the time I'm in Maryland, and I'm like, I get a call from Hollywood, L.A. because the number comes up, and I'm like, wait a minute, hey everybody, this is an important call. I got to take this. So I take the call, and Peter Levinson says, hey, are you the one that's sending us all this information? This is interesting. And I said, hey Peter, let me come out there and show you the tech. We've got this, beta or not even alpha at the time, like really, really, early stage model of it. And I said, let me come show you the potential. And he said, you know what, come on out and show it to us. And then, so he gave me the opportunity. And using that meeting, I eventually booked a meeting with every single studio, including the mini majors Lionsgate, for that 1 week going into Hollywood. And I took Ahmed, my first biggest investor, with me. And at the time, he hadn't invested yet, so he was committed, but the money hadn't been, he hadn't written the check yet.
You wanted
But
to see some attraction, some action on it.
yeah, and I told him I said, Ahmed, I booked these meetings. Why don't you join me, and I can introduce you as like part of the company, whatever title you want, and you can hear it from the horse's mouth. You can come to the meetings and see how it goes, and if it goes well, you make a decision. And so I remember we flew in Sunday, Monday the meeting started. By Friday, Ahmed and I, we have a picture of us in a quad of like some janky hotel with like him handing me a check, and it was for $900,000, and it was for 10% of the company, and it was also for 1 year of his time, for him and I to go back to, because we had such a great time being together there for a whole week, and the energy was great. We're like, look, we got to work together, but he didn't want to be a co-founder. Because he said, look, I'll devote a year of my time to help you get this going. And I guess also it was a way for him to really get to know me deeper and really see like where his money's going to be spent. And after a year, we moved the company from Maryland to San Francisco to where I am now. But he had to go to Dubai. He had to go back to handle family business and things that he was doing. So, and that's why he didn't want to be a co-founder, because he said, well, I can't commit fully to this other than my year and the money I'm putting in. So I don't want to be a co-founder, because then when people ask like, where's your co-founder, what's he doing, it's going to be like, oh, he's no longer working here, he's it just wouldn't fit right. So for the health of the company and for the future of the company, he did that kind of a OG move, which I think was pretty awesome of him. And then so we went forward, and what happened was Don Tannenbaum, who's my co-founder now, was one of the people that I pitched at Warner Brothers.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So when I walked into Warner Brothers, Don Tannenbaum was the SVP of new technology and theatrical distribution. So I walked in, I talked to Don. He really liked the idea. It was actually Ahmed and I, we walked in together, obviously. And a year later, to our luck, Don retired from Warner Brothers after being there for 40 years. And so I told Don, I said, hey, congratulations, but this is going to be really boring for you. Why don't you join us, right? Why would you join us? So to my luck, he was like, yeah, I really liked what you guys are doing. I've been following you guys for a year. And I was emailing him, obviously, and keeping in touch every now and then. So that happened, and Don brought 40 years of Hollywood experience into the company overnight. And it was really cool. So then we started building the company, and we started really building the tech, right, starting at 2019 December. And then right as we had some momentum, boom, COVID hit. So then we were like, oh, this is terrible, but in a way, this is going to prove a lot of things about our technology. Like,
That's what I was gonna say. It's perfect timing.
yeah, had we had the technology finished, like who would have
Yes.
known that was going to happen? It would have been we would have been a huge impact and launched and probably adopted by the industry and a lot of the exhibitors as well
Yes.
because you know, that we weren't ready. Unfortunate that it happened, but it also opened up the whole window to like, okay, so there's the problem. This could happen again, and then obviously cinema exhibition still hasn't been fully back to its old self. So
Yeah.
there's that issue because some of the things that happened during COVID, right? So behavioral changes and things like that, and the industry started offering streaming and premium VOD and stuff. So we decided to say, okay, cool. What we're gonna do is we're gonna purely focus on where everyone isn't looking. We are gonna be the digital ticketed marketplace for all things that require a physical attendance and a ticket for. We are going to be the Grubhub of exhibition, and we are going to be the like premium ticketed YouTube of the artists and the live event world. So instead of pay per view, we see ourselves as pay per viewer. We are an event based technology. We don't have subscribers, so we don't have churn. Like nobody asks pay per view or in demand, right? Hey, how many monthly subscribers do you have? They can't tell you because they don't. They do pay per view on an event based model. We're the same way because we don't play in the catalog business. We don't have 10,000 titles and people are scrolling for ages trying to find something to watch. We're basically, hey, here's let's say our technology is adopted by AMC because they want to expand their footprint.
Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier, we're the Grubhub of cinema. Right now, you can go to a restaurant, but you can order the same food home. The restaurant still makes the money, right? The same way, because of our technology and our ticketed paywall system, we want to be the extension, the digital footprint to these exhibitors. Because now, what we create is an opportunity for people that can't make it into the cinema because they have a small child at home, because they have disability, because they live too far, because of XYZ. But they have disposable income that they can afford a ticket, right? They can afford to buy a ticket as long as they want to be a part of that experience, part of that movie release. They want to watch it. And same thing goes for live events. These are limited, one and done live experiences, and they're presented in a limited, capacity. They have limited seating, limited, locations that artists tour. We have the ability for these artists in these locations to be able to expand beyond the physical brick and mortar while maintaining that per ticketed model, which then gets the artist is fairly compensated. All the all the players, all the stakeholders are rightfully compensated. It's very accountable and it's very secure. And the way we see it, the model is it's a win-win for not only the content owner, but all the stakeholders on the business side, but ultimately to the fans. If I have the money to watch, I don't know, Lion King when it first comes out, but I want to watch it at home with my two children rather than having to figure out a showtime to drive 25
Yeah.
minutes into town to where so many use cases, right? I should have the option to do it. The reason why there's no option is because there's no streaming service that can replicate until now, until we've brought this technology that can replicate that ticketed model. Any other model means people are not going to go to the cinema if they could just pay a single price and have 5, 6, 7 people in the room, right? That would then you're cannibalizing the exhibition business, which doesn't work, which would not work because the entrenched players are not going to allow it. But if you do something complementary that protects their business and
Meaning,
amplifies it, then it's a win-win. And another cool thing that Venue can do is integrate their loyalty program so people that buy tickets and watch it on Venue can earn loyalty points to only redeem back at the AMC or the Cinemark. And we can integrate the food and beverage business. So if I want to order a movie at home, but I also want the popcorn and the nachos from the local AMC, why not have it delivered to me? So now we're expanding not just your ticketing business, but your loyalty business. You're keeping customers in your loyalty program and in coming foot traffic back to the cinema, and we're increasing your food and beverage business. So there's absolutely no reason why an exhibition or an exhibitor wouldn't want to adopt this technology, and that's where we're trying to get it at. And for the live events, it makes sense because once we have, it makes sense on multiple fronts. Once you have the exhibitors on board, exhibitors are also now, if you've noticed, are beginning to get into alternative content and live events. AMC, streamed Taylor Swift's concert, right? The tour. After the live event, after the live tour, they had a theatrical run on it. But imagine, and some live events do get streamed live in the cinemas. By the way, some events like Fathom does live events in the cinemas. But imagine now being able to tell an artist, a big artist, we have X amount of cinemas where we're going to, stream your live event, and venue where we're, reaching another X amount of, homes or users. So it expands the reach for a ticketed audience to be able to watch something premium, something that's happening right now, or a movie that's in cinemas right now. And once the movie is out of the cinema window, it's off of the venue platform, and then
Mhm.
it's not cannibalizing or stepping on the toes of any of the streaming services. Because if I'm the customer that's not going to pay the $12 per ticket and watch it on venue and wait for it to hit Netflix, I'm not that customer. We're not trying to turn people's, into. But if I'm the guy that's like, hey, I'd love to see this movie this weekend with my wife or my buddies or whatever, and I've got the money to do it, right? But I don't want to go into the cinema. I want to have a VIP viewing at home. Why would an AMC or a Cinemark say no to something like that if they can make sure that everyone that's watching is going to have a ticket accounted for, and they can order the popcorn if they want, all that good stuff. So let me pause
So
there and
let's
take some questions.
yes. So let's say I want to. There's a new movie coming up. I want to watch it at home,
Yeah,
but I guess I'm not the only one at home. I have family, so they're
sure.
gonna watch it with me. How do I? How does the count would be exactly?
Yeah,
How do you
so
like? What's the science behind it? Like a ticket will cost me, let's say, $10 or $15. I haven't been in the theater for a while. What's the price of a movie right now? 10 or 15?
uh,
I
so
don't even know.
I think when you average it, it comes much lower than that because they also count the matinee times. But in
Yeah,
reality, I think a movie ticket's like $10 to $12 if you get the
yeah,
average, I guess, in main markets. Some markets are like 12 or 15, and also it depends on if it's like Atmos,
yeah,
Dolby Vision, or like
yeah.
some of the other stuff. So it does vary, but let's say the minimum ticket is $10 on
Okay.
average, right?
Yeah.
So what you would do if you want to watch it at home, and just to let everybody know, we're not rolling out with a device yet. First, we'll be launching on mobile, so that you download it on the mobile phone or your tablet, and it would use the front-facing camera of your phone or tablet, and you'd be able to watch it with one person, yourself, or with a significant other, or a friend, or whatever, side by side. But if you wanted to watch on the TV, you have to get one of these devices. So this is a Venue X device.
Uh-huh.
It has the camera enabled with the magnetic lens cover, so you have the physical privacy. It has a light that comes on that lets you know that the camera's active. It's running on the Google operating system, right? Google TV operating system, and our app is an Android TV app on the device. But what's really cool
Amazing.
is this device also has the ability to do video calling because you could do Google Meet right through the phone, right through this with your TV. You can also obviously access all your other favorite streaming services or your gaming apps because it's Google TV. It's got the Play Store on it. So it's a really cool device that consumers that are looking at changing a device or looking at saying, "Hey, I really love what Venue's offering. I can watch these awesome things on my phone or my tablet. I'd love to watch it on the TV." Well, we have the solution for you. It's already here for you. We're just not rolling out with it because hardware, as you know, is a whole nother beast. And a lot of investors also look at it like, oh, hardware play is tough. We want to roll out with the mobile app, and a lot of our main target customers, which is the younger generation, is consuming mostly on mobile anyway. But for those of us that want to watch on the bigger screen, it's ready. It's right here for you. So we'll
Amazing.
be
So basically, it's kind of a so CNX have two technologies. One is a device, and one is kind of not a subscription, but per use cases, per movie, per stream, per ticketed stream item, let's say.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, on okay, so your deals will be directly with the majors studio, or you deal directly with the like you said, cinema houses. Let's say there's a like
Yeah, I,
Cineplex or
yeah.
AMC. Or,
I think it's ultimately look. I think it's very important to have support of the major studios, like the Universals and Warner Brothers and Paramounts of the world.
yes, got
But
it.
I think it's more important to have the buy-in of the exhibitors, because at the end of the day, we're an exhibition technology, and we're aligning ourselves with exhibition to not only boost but expand that model and that business. If exhibition goes away, then there's no need for a ticketed streaming platform, right? Then it's like subscription and AVOD all day, every day
Yes.
for everything. We're trying to maintain,
It's
and
very
as
unique.
yeah,
Exclusivity. You kind of make it very exclusive. But
yeah.
what about um, ticketed sports events, concerts? I mean, you're doing with the theatrical, a pre-recorded movie. It's easier to stream. But what about live events
No,
anywhere in the
absolutely.
states?
Anywhere in the world,
Or
actually, anywhere in the world,
concerts, indoor or outdoor concerts. Any type of event, ticketed event.
any event. So some of the things that are already licensed, obviously like NFL games and the NBA, things that have been licensed by the big players,
Got it.
we can't get into that unless the license holder wants to use the technology to do some,
Got it.
alternative things, spin-offs of it, backstage. But anything else, like if the UFC wants to use our technology to offer pay-per-viewer and pay-per-view, because they already do pay-per-view. But if they say, hey, for all of you guys that are not getting together in big groups, if it's just going to be one or two of you watching together, $60 is a bit much. We're going to do it $12 a person, and we're going to do it through Venue. And for those of you that are in big groups, you guys are going to use pay per view, the traditional one, because it makes more sense, right, economically. But for me and you to sit back, have a pizza, have a beer, and watch the fight, maybe $60 is a bit much. And so by offering that pay per viewer option, these guys can really capitalize on those onesies and twosies that they're leaving out, that they're leaving on the table, the consumers that they're losing.
These are live. You're not pre-recorded live. Not after the concert's finished or
Yeah.
not after the fight. It's live.
Yeah, our
Like you're
technology has the capability to do both. We're doing
so
obviously the movies, and we have the capability to do live events.
live events is the best. I mean, amazing. Like such concerts. There's a concert happening in San Francisco. I'm in New York. I'm not gonna fly. Whatever the reason is, work, business, family. I cannot go, but I want to watch it. I really want to watch this concert. I want to watch this event. I could do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Our technology allows for that to happen. The production team there can live stream it using our technology to any market, even worldwide. And we have the ability to do multiple camera angles, and offer some really cool interactive things like backstage VIP access, meet and greet with the artist, digital selfie with the artist. Some cool stuff. But again, these are all things that the artist and the team that is putting together the show needs to
Agree
want
on
to
it.
do. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Because it's a marketplace designed for them to utilize and maximize that fan engagement and that fan inclusivity. We call it fan engagement and fan inclusivity. Yeah.
Very new, very amazing. So it's available. Is it live? At what stage you guys in now?
So
And what's next?
the product is live, but we haven't officially launched because we're getting content together. It's currently in the App Store and Play Store, so you can download the app. You can sign up. There's no membership or hidden costs, and there's currently content on the platform that's test content that are shorts, a couple of short movies. So people, if they want to go on and test the content and test the technology, they're more than welcome to do so. But there's a $1 ticket price for the content because it covers the cost of the security and the delivery of the product. So yeah, and that's where that is. So in the current moment, the project is ready to go live. We've already done a couple live pilot tests to test the technology and debug it. We're ready for prime time, and we're currently in negotiations with some content folks to get some content locked down for 2025 and be able to announce those. We're very close, so very exciting things coming out soon, and we're getting ready to launch in Saudi Arabia and the UAE in addition to our efforts in the U.S.
So when are you guys looking to launch in Saudi Arabia or in the Middle East or in the Gulf?
Within the next couple of months, yeah. I'm actually going there 1st of February to finalize launch plans and to just line certain pieces, and then we should be ready to go. We anticipate expansion from there into India, possibly into Turkey and Europe through that bridge, and then
Then the
obviously,
States.
yeah, and obviously we're still very active in the States because as a U.S. company, this is our home, right? This is our hometown.
Are you looking to also launch in the States the same time as Saudi Arabia or the Middle East or later on the States?
Well, the way we see it is the product's live. What we're doing is two things. We're aligning with strategic partners that can quickly help us scale, and we're looking for content partners that want to get on and utilize our technology to expand their reach, expand their fan engagement, and fan inclusivity. At the same time, we're talking to exhibitors, and we're going to be talking to some of the groups that represent the exhibitors to be able to get their support and buy-in on using the technology because integration is very quick. And if there was a big cinema chain that said, "Hey, we're ready to go, try this out," integration is really quick, and that's the stage that we're at right now.
Great. So we could see it anytime this year, later on. And there's no particular time, but we'll be able to watch ticketed events this year in America.
That's the plan. Yes.
XCINEX. Okay. If I'm
Yes.
gonna go to the App Store, it would be what? Under XCINEX, XCINEX,
Yeah.
XCINEX.
Yeah, absolutely. If you go to xcinex.com, under products with Venue Mobile, you'll be able to get access to both the App Store and Play Store. Or if you want to go right into the App Store and Play Store, you can search for Venue Mobile, all one word, and you should be able to find the app in the search and just be able to download it.
Great. When you're gonna launch a couple of months from now in Saudi Arabia and the Gulf region, are you gonna be able, when you launch, does it mean that you will be able to watch ticketed events also over there in a couple of months?
Yeah,
Or just
yeah,
launching the app, it will be so available. Like
yeah.
there'll
I
be
mean,
any particular events that you guys want to announce that you'll be part of in a couple of months from now in the region.
no. So the app is already live on the App Store and Play Store
Yeah,
worldwide.
correct.
Our launches are going to be based on the events that we lock down. So the dates of launches. Currently, we're working on events right now in the UAE. When I say events, I mean both live and film releases. So we're looking for content lineups right now, and we have some in the works, but they haven't been locked down, so I can't announce them. But you will definitely hear about them as soon as we lock them down. This is very close.
My friend, it's very complex the way you thought about the whole thing. I don't know how do you come up with this idea, but amazing, definitely. I mean, and it lines up with what's happening right now. Yes, I mean this is the future. Xenex definitely got the right idea, and Jihan got the right idea. Him and his co-founders. Um, This is amazing. Are you guys raising more money? You have enough money raised? Or are you looking for more money? For our investors and viewers who's watching Pitch Your Startup, they're going to be intrigued and they're going to love the idea and say, "Hey, I want to be a part of this. I want to be in the board. I want to be an advisor, an investor."
Yeah, absolutely. As a startup, we're always raising. We're currently in our seed round. We are raising 4 million, of which 2 million we've already been able to bank. We've
Secure.
received, secured. Um,
Congratulations.
it's on a safe and it's on a rolling closing basis. So interested parties would please reach out to me. You can find me on LinkedIn, and that's probably the I spend most of my time. So rather than email, so. Right, please reach out to me. I'd love to connect with you and share our deck and share the data, and share some of our major milestones that we didn't get a chance to talk about here.
Yes, absolutely. He's always on LinkedIn. I found him on LinkedIn and I said, "Hey, pretty interesting. I got to get the guy on the show." Absolutely. Love it, man. Anything else you want to tell our viewers and who might be interested, fans or investors? Anything else that you want to say before we say goodbye? Because I love the idea. I think Xenix.com, go on there, download the app, available on Android, available on the Apple Store. Am I right? On both.
Yeah, absolutely. On both, available on both. And I'd like to thank, thank God, thank my family and my
Always.
supporters, and thank the awesome team that we have here at CNEX and all the folks that have dedicated years of now their time and blood, sweat, equity in making this a reality and putting the product out there. And I want to thank the industry and the support that we're getting from the folks in the industry, like our advisors, like Mena Masood, who's an actor that played in Aladdin. His support has been awesome and phenomenal, and many like him that are a part of this journey, and of course to our investors that have doubled and tripled down and have believed in us and continue to believe in us, and without them we wouldn't be here. So yeah, absolutely, and a lot more I'm probably forgetting, but it's really exciting, and we're really excited to be revolutionizing something that we think can destroy the boundaries and borders of culture, where now we can share, and Netflix has done a great job of this, and we think we can amplify it to the premium entertainment of things.
Unbelievable. Well, you heard it first here, Xenex.com, Xenex Corporation with Jihan. Jihan, thank you again for joining us today on this episode of Pitch Your Startup. And I want to thank our listeners for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, follow us, like, share, and all the beautiful stuff on social media. Until next time, always think out of the box, stay motivated, and hey, look at Jihan. I mean, dreams always could come true. There's nothing, the life's, as they say, sky's the limit. That's it. Thanks again.